Hi guys, welcome back. Well, here we are, it's in May. Let me ask you a question. How many of you people have thought all winter about an area that you like to check out for next fall? You know, I'm sure most of us have that same idea. Well, that's what I'm doing right now too, same thing. I had an area last November 17th, I was way back in here. It's about 6 miles back in off these old 2 tracks and that. And I saw some scrapes, and it's been a fun challenge for me to find these areas where these deer, let me tell you, literally, these deer do not see any people. Because what hunter would think, I'm not going 6 miles to try to drag a deer out? But it's just a wonderful challenge when you got thousands of acres that these deer are back here. And the thing is, I'll keep showing you as we go, the problem is the fact that you don't see much sign. Because of the problem that we have up here in the North Woods is that they don't have the competition. You know, that's just my opinion, guys. I'll be very honest with you. I've seen areas, in agriculture areas, where there's so many bucks, there's scrapes and rubs everywhere. You don't find that up here up north. You really don't. In many states, even over in the Adirondacks, I talk to people, they don't have as much sign because if you think about it, just think of this once. I'm going to ask you a question, or should I say an analogy. If you and I were 20 years old, 21, whatever it may be, and we were going to a sports bar, we were single, and they had a band there playing. So we're going to go there, see if there's some women there, and see the other guys and talk to them as a man versus a buck. This is the thinking that I have. So you're going to go there. You go into this bar or the sports bar, whatever it may be, and you're going to see tons of guys. There's going to be testosterone dripping off the walls, literally. Okay. The point is, that's somewhat similar to what I see in agriculture areas that I've hunted down south. Now you go to then down the road to another bar where there's only maybe 1 or 2 people. Testosterone is nothing. What do you think we have up here and the same thing up here in the woods? There's not that much competition. So when you're looking for sign up here, you may find a scrape or 2. You got to work with just that buck. And that's what I'm doing right here. I have a buck that's close to 6 miles. I'm 3 miles already on this 2 track. I have my bike, then I'm going to have to get into a rutted road for another 2 to 3 miles. And then I'm going to walk another 1.5 miles to get to this area that I thought would be really super challenging. So let's go at it. And I think I'll try to explain to you why I'm hunting that area when we get to that point. So let's continue on, okay? I'm just about at the end of this. Now you can see it just general woods everywhere. Nothing. Just a bunch of nothing. But the thing is, what I've noticed back here, we'll be coming up to a point where they cut years ago. We're getting to it. Here's where I'm going to stop. Right to this point. Now see the cutover back there? Now see, I'm going up there. The old road. Logging roads were always left over and nobody uses them from years and years. Now I can't take a guess at how this is the beginning of a logging area. Now what could it be? 10 years ago? I'm not sure. But we're going to check it out, and I'm going to go to the edge of it, all the way back. And there was a little lake that I saw, and I want to get in that corner. So let's go back there and see. Okay, so we got about 2-3 miles to go on this old 2 track that they use probably for logging. And I want to see, it's just, as you can see in the woods, it's nothing. It's nothing, just a bunch of maple. Miles and miles and miles of just maple. No understory, nothing. Nothing to offer. So, I want to get the edge of the old cutover that they had. And I always look for lower areas where there is any type of water for them, especially in the fall like that, when they are hot with their heavy coat. And their diet changes to more of a woody browse, so they're going to be more thirsty. Like in the summer, they have more vegetation to rely on to cover their thirst, so that water isn't quite as demand. And when the temperatures, you get a warm October, they're going to hang down that area. You got to just try to find these little areas in miles and miles of woods like that and just work with it. If you have one buck, just work with that one buck. Now, see, here's one thing I started noticing as I was walking last fall. There is more daylight down below. It's getting more daylight down there, showing me that there may be some lower areas which may attract them, bucks down in swamps, what have you. So that got me a little more interested as I was walking along here. So let's go, keep going and check and see what's going on. But see, it's nothing. Just nothing. Still going, miles of nothing. But now here, we're getting close to where they logged 10 years ago, give or take, huh? Now see how it's coming up here? There's your aspen cut over. Look at this. See how it changes? Now that's always going to attract some. Way back here. Now I'm right on the border of it, so apparently it goes up north, it just keeps going with a big logging. Now down to the left of me, it looks more daylight to where it's a lower area, where it may be getting closer to water or swamp. So I'm on the edge here, and that's all I'm trying to do is get closer to an edge, to bring it more to a pinch point for any buck that would be in this area. Okay, we're pushing our 3 miles. We're getting closer now to where I'll have to walk it from that point. Right on the edge of the cutover. You can just see it in here. But see, you can't, how could you begin to hunt this? It goes for miles. You really can't. You have to find some transition of some sort to attract them. And that's actually what is it's distracting any kind of hunters to where it's not encouraging at all to them. Because what would you do here? I think I'm getting closer to where I got to walk. Because I can see to the left of me it's getting lower and lower. And that's what attracted me. I wanted to go check that lake out and see if anything comes up into these cutovers. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's food here. This is, in the middle of nothing, you offer a cutover. Well, what do you expect? It's food. Maybe you can see it. There's a lake down below. See water down there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap around. I'm coming down, and I'm going back over up in that area. Because basically, if you notice, there's the cutover up in that area. And then it ends. Now we're back into just regular woods, but it drops down into a swamp, and I'm going up in those hills up on top there. We're going to go check it out. Came at the bottom. Now you can see that lake over there. We're at the very bottom. See, that's what I'm getting at. Now it's almost becoming a little pinch point to where they have to travel down here for water if they need any, that I could tell in the whole area. Then we're going to head up. This is an old, I can walk it, just an old dugout trail from logging days from way back. We're going to head up in that area because this is where I was last November and I found scrapes up here. Now the interesting thing is, see, now I got a lake on that side, and over here, way up there, begins the cutover. See, so I got the cutover, I got a stretch here, and then I got water. So that's all I'm going to focus on. You know, you have to take only, I always say, if you're up in big woods situations, you got to take one area at a time. I don't care about the rest of the land. I'm just taking one buck that I saw, and maybe I'll see him this year. It's a quality hunt, just for the fun of it and that challenge itself. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to see if we got one coming back in this area again this fall. But I want to check out this area to see if it's worthwhile. What I'm going to have to do is go down in this bottom eventually and just look at it, see if there was any activity, any rubs or anything that we can find out. But at least I'm getting this little area cornered. Beginning of a cutover to up here, it looks like there's oaks, and then we got the lake. That's all I'm going to work at. That's it. So let's go take a walk. It's just an old lane. Nothing on it, just you're miles back in. I'm about a mile into this one now. And not too bad. See, now if you notice, this little strip has some oaks. That's all you're looking for. It's like candy to these deer. Now, we didn't have acorns last year, but maybe this year we will. See, there's oaks right here. And you can see the daylight over there that drops down into that lake. Okay. And there's the bottom over there where they cut it over. Down and it drops off. We're going to have to go down and look at that. Let's continue. It drops off down to the lake. Now you get a better picture of how it drops down into that bottom. That's the beginning of the cutover from way back when. And that's all we're dealing with is right here. Just want to keep going on this road and see, because I got to drop down in there. I want to take a look at that, because just up the road here on November 17th when I was here, there was fresh scrapes on this little trail. Fresh, I mean fresh. On the 17th of November. That's what made me think of it all winter to get back here finally now. And here is the first one I saw last November. Scrape right under this branch. He had all this opened up. Hard to tell right now, but that's where it was. Okay, so that's all I'm dealing with is one buck in this area. Now I got to see if there's any trails leading out to this. Are they down in that bottom? That's what we have to scout to find out. And I tell you what, guys, this is big, big ass country. I'll tell you that. I like to know how many deer per square mile. Can't be a lot. But boy, this is fun. Drops down that bottom. We're going to have to go through that bottom. I got to take a look at it. It's driving me nuts. Something's hanging on now. See, there again, I probably won't be looking at bedding, because I wouldn't know where to begin on the bedding in this area. You can take a guess at all the things you want up in the highlands, down in the swamps. Could be. But if he was scraping out here, he's coming out in this area for a reason. So maybe he's got some does in that cutover. Not sure. I'll have to watch it there again come next fall. But I just want to get a better idea of what's in this area. Now there's where I was, back in the cutover. I popped back out into this ravine. Now, I noticed one thing. There's this trail that's also coming from up in the highlands. So some are bedding up in that area, because look at this trail. I know it's hard to see sometimes, guys, when you see these on videos. But it's heading up. It's heading up. And remember, over that skyline over there, that's the lake. It's coming up, coming up. Look at this. Older, but still available. They're coming through here. So we know we got bucks working the edge of this cutover. Now we're going to go up and see what's going on. Okay, I'm going right through the middle of this cutover to get back to where we went into it. I just want to go all the way through it. Now I'm coming back over just to see what's in the middle. I don't see much activity. Looking a little better here. What is this? Ah, I think we found a route. Main trail. Hard to see, guys, but it goes right up through there. Okay, there's probably your does hanging up on top, bedding way up in the highlands of this cutover. And remember, we're going to the lake over there. And if you notice, look at this. The one trail. You know, you can start seeing dirt, so it was used. Well, I'll be dang. One coming through. Coming through here. See, they're going to go up over that ridge where we were walking on that old lane. In fact, look at this. Now here's a somewhat fresh trail. I mean track. Right down through there. Yeah. Right in here. So, you got something coming through here anyway, but this is their trail coming through the cutover. Going right on through, look at that. Okay? That's what you find. So, how many you got? One or two? Who knows? And, look at this. Bingo last year. Right there. I'll be dang. And bingo, oh, this gets good. Look at this. My. Look at that. Got a scrape right on the end here. He worked it over, worked the branches over. It's from last year. And look at how old, look at the historical rubs on these trees like this. Okay, so what is that telling you? Now, this is an area, you've seen this in time and time again in many areas. You can count on this from year to year, that they're going to follow this. Some places are very traditional that way with some of these bucks. And the does are traveling through here. Oh, that's excellent. So that's what we found right here. So we got something to work with on the edge of this cutover. And I'm going to take it up the hill where it goes and heads towards the water. And up on top, what was there? Acorns. See, that's all I want to work with is this area. Just stay all in this area. Forget the 2,000 acres of just woods. You can go on and on the rest of your life doing that. But I'm just staying right here. Let's go see. Old trail through here. How's that for a historical rub? Ooish. Not bad, huh? Boy. These old guys up here just die of old age. Absolutely nothing up here. You don't hear anything, no sound of anything. But there again, a lot of states have the same scenario that I'm in. Nothing new to many people. You gotta love this, that's all. If not, you don't belong here. It's just fun exploring to see what you can come up with. Now I'm halfway up the hill, and that's where we were down there, where those trails were. Now I'll be honest with you guys, I hunt on the ground, and this would be a nice, right about through here. I got nice open shooting right there, 25 yards. As they come through there and they're going up the hills, they're going up in that direction. This would be a great spot. I got to mark this. I got to remember this. This would be nice. I could hide right back in here. I got my artificial limbs, what have you. I can make a little blind. And I got north coming off of there. I'd have to watch the west. West is over. Oops, sorry. West is over in that area blowing this way, so I got to watch it. This ain't bad. I could even find a spot right over there to check it out as you go through there. This is nice. Got to remember this. Now this is where we were, guys, down in that whole bottom and up in the cutover. So on the hill, edge of that hillside over there, looking down, look promising. But, you know, I'm not convinced that's the same buck that was doing these scrapes here on the 17th of November. Because if I remember right, I'm going to keep going on this road because if I remember right, it was farther down, you were still making them. Just not quite sure if that's the only buck in this area. We're going to continue on and see. See, now there's the water. You can see it down there. All it is one more drawing factor, you know, when they get thirsty in the fall, at least they got that. And that's all I can see. I glanced once on a map and I did not see much water up in this area, other than a small lake. That may be the attraction there. But I don't like to get too hung up right on the lake itself, because it could be nighttime when they're doing this. All right, let's keep going. Just looking for other sign. Any other scrapes that he had along the way? I have no clue where this road keeps going, but just an old dead-end lane for logging years ago. See, it's all washed out, logs over it. It's wonderful for walking. The heck? What am I, 2 miles in right now? It's nice. It's down at the bottom here, we'll see. See if there's any more scrapes along here. Just curious. I think there's a lot of bear up in this area. Oh, hey, 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 look at this. My, my, my. You worked over? There's one. Okay, so he was running this road. Where he comes from, who knows, eh? He's working it over. So they're coming up this hill because there's acorns up there. I know there is. I saw some on the ground from last year. And they don't have too many up in this area, if you notice. Popple, maple, same old, same old. But when you find some oaks, boy, that's candy. And put that together with the cutover, there's the beginning of the cutover again. They're right on the edge. That's where I want to be. I see here, another scrape. Right there. So he was busy. So he's coming along this road yet somewhere. We'll continue on. Okay guys, what I did, I'm coming back. I went quite a ways on a trail. Then I came back and crossed the lane right along the lake. I'm just tucking along here because I'm just curious to see if there was any old trails that were heading down here, and it's very dispersed. One little lane here, one little trail here, one here, and that's about it. I just want to make sure I get everything in order here of where I want to hunt this. But obviously they're coming along here, going into this area here. But I felt good. You know, I'll be very honest with you. I felt good. Usually your first gut feeling sometimes is the best. I'm going to go back to where we were at the end of that cutover. I saw that one rubber too. There's two lanes intersecting there to come up into this area. And I think I like my chances there. Now there again, scrapes along the road, along these trails, you never know when they're doing it. We all know that. You know, yeah, you can put your cameras and see, but up here I'm just going on it, and I'm going to check over there one more time where I saw that couple trails coming together, where I said this would be a good spot. I think I'm going to settle in there, and then I'll check it some other time at this point, okay? But you could see, as far as we went here now, that this is what it's like, and I'm sure all your northern states, Minnesota, Michigan, all the way to the East Coast, they have the same scenario if you hunt large forested areas. You go on one sign and you're going to have to hunt it and see what it's all about. That's all you do. Give it a shot. It's nice and peaceful, if nothing else, guys. You don't see beer cans up here. All right? Well, thanks a lot for watching anyway. It's just good to get out again, and I hope you enjoyed this little trek along here. Yeah, so it turned out it's about maybe 5.5 miles back from where I started with the car. Okay? But it's worth it. I see this has got some potential. It'd be a nice day when it's snowing out to hit a spot like this. But it's going to have to be, like I said, that buck came back on the 17th of November last year, and he was hitting this hard along this road. So sometimes you got to wait a little longer than that proverbial first week of November. Sometimes you got to hold off a little bit more. And I'm finding that more and more every year, that I enjoy coming out a little later in the season. Second week of November on, then I do that first part. So, hey, enough chit chat. Take care, guys. I hope you enjoy this.